Welcome to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. The Bible tells one big story of redemption, and we want to spend 5 minutes every day journeying through the Bible from start to finish and exploring how all of it points to Jesus.
Hey guys, welcome back to the A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace podcast. I'm Kristen, and today we're continuing to work through the book of 2 Chronicles with chapters 10 through 12. And as a reminder, at the end of chapter 9, Solomon died and his son Rehoboam was made king. And so whenever there was a new king at the time, there was understandably this period of uncertainty. People would wonder, what's this new king going to be like? Will it be a good one or a harsh one? And so the people of Israel came to Rehoboam basically saying, your dad made our yoke or our load, our work basically, he made it heavy. Basically, life has been hard and burdensome under your dad, but if you help make our load lighter, we'll serve you. And so as a new king, he was wise enough to get counsel from other people about how he should respond to their request. And so he asked the old men around him, those who were around before his dad was even alive, and he said, what should I say? And they advised him that if Rehoboam was good to the people, they would serve him forever. But unfortunately, he didn't listen to them. He also got counsel from the young men who advised him to say this, my little finger is thicker than my father's thighs. You can just imagine him puffing out his chest and proudly saying, you thought my dad was bad? Just you wait and see. I'm even stronger than he was. And when the people heard this, they said, what portion do we have in David? Essentially, they said, what are we doing here? This king, he's not for us. Everybody, just do your own thing. Go to your own homes. And so we see the kingdom divided. Rehoboam ruled over the people who were in Judah, and for a while, he even tried to rule over the rest of Israel. He sent a taskmaster to make them do his work, but they killed him. They killed the taskmaster, and instead, they chose Jeroboam to rule over them, and so the kingdom was divided. And obviously, Rehoboam wasn't too happy about this. The people were rebelling against him, and so he assembled an army in Jerusalem ready to go to war against the rest of the Israelites. But a word of the Lord came to him and said not to fight against his own family, and so he didn't. Later on, the scriptures say that he had a lot of wives, a lot of children, and he started to settle into his kingdom. And the Bible says that he even followed God for a season. But he didn't fully follow the Lord. Once he was strong and established, he led the people to abandon God's law. And foreign armies started to come against Jerusalem to destroy them. And so the people repented of their sins against God, and God said that he wouldn't destroy them completely. But he did allow the king of Egypt to take the treasure from the king's house. But even then, God was gracious, and he allowed the conditions in Judah to remain good and for there not to be total destruction. And that wraps up the summary part of today's chapters. But how do you see Christ in today's chapters? As we read about bad kings, about kings who rule harshly over their people, giving them a heavy yoke, I immediately think about the time that Jesus talked about yokes. Jesus was not like one of these bad kings who put heavy burdens on the people but lived in a life of luxury. Jesus lived amongst his people. He had no place to lay his head, and he invited all to come to him, saying, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. For my burden is easy, and my yoke is light. Jesus offers freedom and joy, and he takes away our burdens. He doesn't needlessly add on to them. He is a perfect, good, all-wise, and holy king, and he is worth worshiping today. And as we seek to apply today's verses, we should take note of when Rehoboam rebelled. It was when he was strong, when he was established. And when the people were in danger, about to be destroyed, they turned back to God. But when life was good and everything seemed to be going well, that's when they thought that they were strong enough without God. And it's so easy for us to do the same. When life is good, it's so easy to think, why do I need God? I got this. When we mistake the blessings of the Lord for our own competence and provision, instead of thanking God for the beautiful seasons of life, we turn away from him. And so if anything, we should take note of what not to do. We remember that God is worthy of worship in good seasons and in bad ones, and He sustains us all the time, in the good and in the bad. In every season, He is worthy of worship. So that wraps up today's podcast. But to follow along with our free reading plan or any other resources, check out the Daily Grace Co. website at www.thedailygraceco.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Daily Grace Co. or Daily Grace Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.